As a Black woman in development, design, and construction. That's so powerful. I love that for you. What does that mean to have a seat at every table?
What it means is control. What it means is control. I get to guide the process. I had just been a part of so many scenarios where, not as the business owner that I am now, but I'd been a part of so many other scenarios where I just had seen people just going down a path, or clients being taken down a path that was unnecessary. Not because the person I was working for was being unethical, it's just their business model wasn't to hold people's hand and walk them through the process, right? All the time, it's not that somebody's out to get you. That's just not their business model. It's like, I provide a service, you need to tell me what you want, and I'll give you what you want. But if you don't know what you want, or if you don't know what you need, so you've got to find a provider. If especially if you are new to the game, you're going to have to find a provider of services that's going to be willing to explain things to you, walk you through it, and give you the why.
So, do you intentionally bring subcontractors, partners, and vendors who reflect the communities that you decide to serve?
Absolutely.
Love even. How do you approach it though? Like, I know you did say that your clients come to you, but how are they finding you or knowing that, like, you are the person at the heart to serve this community?
You know, all of our clients come to us, either they know me, they've met me at a professional event, or they know someone that knows me. And it's interesting you asked about the intentionality of the subcontractors that we use on a project. Um, we completed a project last year, Autism Complete Fairburn. Fairburns right outside of Atlanta on the south side. And this business owner, Barjona, she purchased a building. And it was used to be a church. And we turned it into a facility that educates children with autism. And that's her business. And on that project, the total construction budget was roughly just under 700,000. But the intentionality with which we selected our subcontractors for this project, that 700,000 that came from her, one Black woman to another Black woman, that 700,000 went to a plumber that looks like me, went to a HVAC company that looks like me, went to an electrician company that looks like me, went to a floor installer that looks like me, went to a landscaper that looks like me. The sign that we produced came from a company that looks like me. And we measured the impact in our community. Now, every trade we were not able to execute, because at the end of the day, I deliver a quality project to my client. So we don't compromise on quality. But of all the trades and all the materials that we were able to source from people that look like me, that impact was 2.5 million. Because in turn, those businesses employ people that look like me, and they also employ suppliers that look like me. The restaurants that we patronize were owned by people that look like us. And so, that magnitude of impact on a small project, because that's a small project, right? Imagine doing that on an even larger scale, which we're doing this year. We're working on a multi-family project in College Park, and we're doing the exact same thing. And this is a larger project. So when we get to the end of that, I'll be excited to share what that community impact has been. And again, that's another client that looks like me that hired me. So already you can count that dollar turning over in the community at least 3 times, from them to me, from me to the subcontractors to the employees. Oh my God, that's 4 times. on one project, let alone the businesses and restaurants and services that they all support and use to support their businesses. Okay. Even when we had the celebration, the caterer that I like me, the photographer did. You know what I'm saying? So it just brings me joy when I'm able to do that and we're able to see that change. And to be honest with you, the narrative that is prevalent that's out there about the statistics on how often the dollar turns over in the Black community, I don't really know that. I don't really know how true that is. Okay, because what I see, okay, the project that I talked about, the Autism Complete, that project came to me from a referral of a Black woman who referred this other Black woman to me. And so again, I understand what people are saying, but that's not the reality of that I see.
Wow, that is so beautiful. For me, I need to know, how are you vetting them? Because a lot of times we are seen to be, we come do the bare minimum, or we're coming to joke around, or we want to do things at a higher cost, but, it's going to take longer if we hire someone that's Black. You're saying that that is not the case in your instances of things, the people that you work with. How do you know that you're getting quality? How do you vet these people out? Are they referrals? How are you finding that the community is doing so well?
You know, first let me say that there are bad experiences across the spectrum, right? From companies owned by all types of people. I think that the amplification of this thought that the service or quality from companies that look like us is less than is more so related to the fact that there's just not as many Black owned companies, so that the ones that are struggling to deliver on customer service or deliver on quality take up a larger space than might normally if, the number of Black businesses really was comparable to our percentage of population in the US. I think the percentage is like 6% of businesses are Black owned, but we make up 13% of the population, right? So again, but so I've had some bad experiences, but I don't think that that has anything to do with what they look like. I think it had everything to do with were they good at running their business. And for the most part, it's really about a lack of knowledge. But going to how you vet them. In the commercial real estate space, pretty much everybody has to have a license. GC's got to have a license. The insurance person involved's got to have a license. The banking professional, the mortgage broker, the plumber, the electrician, the architect, the engineer. So the first place to start is, are they licensed? And that information is free. The Secretary of the State of every state keeps a record of everybody that has to have a license, from hairdressers to GCs to plumbers to electricians. So start there. Do they have a license?
Right.
Then once you find out, do they have a license? Do they have any complaints on their license? That's why the state issues licenses. It's not just to collect money, it's to hold people accountable when they offer services. And so, that's where you got to start. Do you know how much nonsense you could eliminate
Absolutely.
if you just started there?
Yeah. And so for me, like I said, part of my why that we had fished out was because I had got scammed, and I got scammed by somebody who looked like me in real estate, but it was on the residential side. So when I went and got my PNC license, I said, okay, I learned about bonding. I was like, and that's the closest thing to a guarantee that your project is going to be done, but it only works on the commercial side. So that's why I'm like, maybe we need to step more into the commercial space if we're going to invest in things of that nature, because there's more safety. Yeah, the numbers are larger, but there's more safety in the return, because The numbers have to number, and these people have to be licensed, and they're held accountable.
Mhm. It's interesting how somebody will get really interested in helping you when you threaten their license. That's how they make money.
Yeah.